Hello everybody, welcome in to the latest video. I've got a lovely sprue here which we're going to be looking at in a second, but if you are not into incredibly positive, very hyper and excited videos, then this might not be the video for you, because this video is all about, courtesy of Games Workshop, they have sent me the new Necromunda Secondus book and box and sprues and everything, and we're going to have a look at them now. So we're going to go through a little bit of the rules. Well, not that much of the rules. We're going to go a little bit through like what's in the box, and we're going to have a look at the Spyrer sprue because I'm dead excited about that. I'm sure I'll talk about that more. But just straight off the bat, I would like that, like all the additional kind of books and paraphernalia and everything come in these really cool little. I mean, they're only paper bags, but they come in like a little paper envelope with Necromunda Secondus on them. They're really smart, and the book itself is one of the best looking books I think I have seen come out of a specialist design studio like ever. It's so clean and it looks so smart, and the artwork is so crisp and like, look at that. Sorry, get the glare off. There we go. Look at that. It's awesome. It's so clean, and it just looks amazing. And the story is brilliant as well. The story of Hive Secondus and how it was initially made as, or initially decided it was going to be a big hive world where people could go and it was going to be like a peaceful place where people could learn and increase their knowledge and everything, and then it just all went downhill. Again, because of the Adeptus Mechanicus. So yeah, but you'll have to get the book and read all of that for yourself because it's absolutely brilliant. And then we have all the rules at the back for the Spyrers. Spyrer hunters are here and things. It's phenomenal. I mean, look at that! Look at that! Look at that! It's so good. It's so good. Now, there aren't any rules for the other Spyrers in here. It's just the Orrus, so it's literally just the rules for everything which is in the box, which is fine because we have there's the Vansar in there. There's the new Vansar kind of tech guys. There's the Malstrain gene sealers, which are so good. They look so good. I will show you those sprues in another video. And then there's the cult guys. And the Spyrers. Now the Spyrers, I have been hoping and praying and wishing that Specialist Design Studio do the Spyrers at some point, because back when I played Necromunda, I mean, I know we're just everybody's got the Necromunda stories, but back when I played Necromunda, I had a Escher gang and I had a Spyrer gang. They were my two gangs. They were really good fun. I took the I had the Escher gang. The Eschers would run generally in like a big long campaign, and then the Spyrers, I would bring the Spyrers in for like little one shots that we had, like little random stories of like a 4v4 or something, like 4 players playing all at once. I'd just bring some Spyrers in and run those. I didn't really. I wasn't a big fan of the Jakara for some reason. I liked the Orrus, which is great because we got the Orrus here. Really like the Malkadon, the Orrus and the Yelk. They were my 3 Spyrers. So hopefully when the new ones come out as well, I'll be getting those. But I thought I would look through this sprue. We have the build. We've got the build book here as well. So if we flick through and have a look. So this is the one I'm going to build. I'm going to build the Orrus Spyrer number 1, the Spire Hunter number 1. He's going to end up looking. That's the pose. However, what I want to do is I want to lift this arm up so that he's shooting out of the back of his wrist gauntlets. And the wrist gauntlets, you can have a bolt launcher, a Volkite discharger, or a disintegration matrix. And the rules for this are insane. The rules for this, so as you don't level up with as a Spyrer, you don't level up with gear, so you don't get experience and then buy more gear or anything like that. You level up your suit, so the more kills you get, your suit levels up. You think of it like Spider-Man in Tony Stark's Spider-Man suit that had like his training wheels protocols on. So you level up your suit. The disintegration matrix already guarantees to take somebody out of action if you can take them down to 0 wounds. It then, once you level it up, it turns into damage 3. So it's damage 3 automatically takes things out of action. It's so cool. Bolt launcher gets rapid fire. The Volkite discharger, I think Volkite discharger gets severed, which gives you an additional hit. If you make a hit and a wound, then you get an additional hit on the target, which is really, really cool. So they are the. It's just so good. They're the 3 options that you can put on there. You've also got the 3 options you can put on the other one. You've got 4 different heads you can use. I have no idea which head I'm going to use yet. And you also have the Power Talon or the Power Fist. You can vary those. I don't know which one I like more. I don't know which one I like more. We'll get there. We'll get there. And once we've kind of had a flick through and decided, I think I like the Power Talon. I don't know. Yeah, we'll have a look and we'll decide once we've had a quick little look at the sprue. So we'll zoom in and get the focus for you so we can have a look through this sprue properly. There's the power. I mean, the power claw is so cool. But then the power. I am ridiculously excited about this. And then there's the caryatid as well, or caryatid. Is that how you say it? Where is it? There he is. It is, yeah, caryatid, the little caryatid dude. Yeah, it's just brilliant. I love the fact that these have kind of appeared in Necromunda again now after that just random piece of John Blanche artwork, and they were like, oh yeah, okay, let's pull a little bit of concept art out from 20 years ago and drop it in the game now as well. So we got these in the game, brilliant. Right, so this. You look at the sprue and you can't really see a lot of what's what. I mean, you've got the torso and the legs down here. I love the idea that people, the Spyrers, so the Spyrers are the noble household. So the nobles who run Hive Secondus and the Hive cities and everything, they are suited up and they are put into these Spyrer suits to go hunting and to try to bring back trophies and things. But the Aurus have their legs chopped off so that they can fit into the suits. I don't know about the other suits, but the Aurus is like, it's a commitment. It's a commitment to be in these suits. We've got 2 torsos here, 2 different torsos. I'm guessing that's for the 2 different poses that you can do. And then you've got the Power Fist. The Power Fist is so cool. The Power Fist, and you've got the Power Claws over here as well. And then you've got all the different weapons. The quality is good. Like the quality that you get, you get this a lot with Forge World. They seem to take like the detail and the scale of all the details much higher, and they seem to push it much further. You get this a lot. I think anyway. I find this. I think the Games Workshop versions, although the details on the Games Workshop version are still as crisp, I don't think they push like the level of detail quite as far as they do in some of the Forge World stuff, Specialist Design Studio. So it's really impressive. Like all the details in here. You've got creases around here, which I'm guessing is skin. Ew, is that skin? Skin that's been pulled out? Oh, anyway, yeah. There's just an awful lot of details. It's quite nice. I've not seen. Look at the detail on that. That's ridiculous. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. So yeah, it's just really nice to see this kind of level of detail, and it's a real, whether it's a painter's model or not, I don't know. It's going to be nice to be able to, if you are incredibly skilled, you could flex and you could paint and detail all of these up. I mean, that head's phenomenal as well. I do like painting faces, so it's going to be interesting to see which head I do pick to put on the model. But yeah, it's really nice, and I do like the insectoid style for the armor. It's a proper shift away from the Imperium, so it doesn't look like it's just an Imperial power suit sort of thing. And you just, I think it's going to have to be a claw. You know, I think it's going to have to be the claw. I don't know whether you can do one of each. That might be quite interesting. I'm sure rules-wise, you come with either 2 power claws or 2 claws, 2 power fists or 2 claws. But I'll just do one of each. I mean, look at that. It's so cool. Maybe I'll just do one of each and then say, look, this one for this game, this guy is running a power fist. Wow. And then you've got the armor void shield, if you like. Yeah. So we're going to build this up. Now, one of the things that I am going to do is all my Necromunda stuff are on these really cool bases. So this is one of my Escher, which I'm working on at the moment. She's got a little poison drip on her dagger there, so she's being worked up at the moment. But I use these kind of see-through bases. They're 3D printed. You can get them on my website if you really want them. But they're really nice. And I've printed out a base for the Orrus. So we're going to use this base for him as well. I wanted one with a little bit of variation in height on the base because I think this guy has, yeah, he's got some bits that you can put on the base to vary the height on his feet. So how that's going to look with a little bit of rubble on the top of this, I don't know. We might have to cut the feet out. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. Yeah, I think you can see here we've got a little bit of height variety on the feet. So, but that's the base that we're going to use. I think that's going to look really good. I just really like them. I really struggle to try and find bases that sort of fit into, because I like height on my bases. A lot of my things. So if you look here, we've got the base that I'm working on for Morven Val, and we've got a little bit of height playing about on there. And I like height on my bases. I just couldn't quite get the ones for Necromunda to work right, so these ones I think just really worked, and you've got kind of like a different levels and layers that are going on with these, which are really cool. So that's the plan. Tools, I'm going to do a slightly more kind of involved, if you like, build process on these, just so that you can see exactly what I'm going to do. Tools wise, I use two different types of nippers, two different types of side cutters. Yes, they're both Japanese. We've got the God Hands over here, which were very kindly gifted to me by one of my Twitch followers, Hannah. So thank you very much, Hannah. And then I've also got these micro nippers here, which are for the higher, thicker gates sort of thing. So if there's, I mean, all these are really small gates, so we should be fine with the God Hands. But I don't like using the God Hands for large gates. So like for instance, when I was clipping this out from the sprue, it might have like a really large gate on here. So I use the slightly more robust, if you like, side cutters to cut those ones out. And then use these ones for the smaller ones. The God Hands are absolutely phenomenal for those of you who don't know. There's the movement in them is beautiful, and then also the reason why they are so good, if you look down here, if we just zoom in and try and get focus for you. There we go. So you can see that it is a blade. So it's almost like you have a scalpel blade here. This is a scalpel blade, and then that's like an anvil or a block, so it cuts the part, and it's incredibly good. Whereas these are traditional side cutters, which are almost like two scissor blades which come together at a point. These are some of the best ones I've seen and use, which are lovely. They're actually electrical ones. You can get these in the link down below if you want to grab a pair. So that's the two clippers that I use, and then I use craft knives with craft blades. I don't use scalpels anymore, so I don't use the surgical scalpels with the scalpel blades. The scalpel blades I find are a little bit too thin, although they're very sharp. The sharpness doesn't last on them, and also they're a little bit thin, so when you're scraping and removing mold lines, if you get a little bit aggressive with it, and it's quite easy to get a bit aggressive when you're kind of rushing, or you're being a bit what's the word, not very appropriate sort of thing, with when you've used the blade a little bit more than you need to, and it's a little bit more blunt, and you really attack and you just put a bit too much pressure on it. I had two scalpel blades snap within a week of each other and fly past my face. I was like, well, I'm not doing that anymore. So I have an awful lot of knives from many years, so I tend to use those. There we go. So this one is a one from 1960 that my granddad gave me. It takes slightly larger blades, and then I just get replacement blades. These blades are incredibly sharp as well, and they're a little bit more toughened, and they last a little bit longer than scalpel blades. So I use craft knives. I've then got a number of, this one's absolutely worn out, but these ones are little sanding pads. I think this one's 1500 grit. But again, you can get these down on the link down below, which are really good. And then I have a selection of files if I need those as well. But that tends to be it. And then the glue, of course. So the glue that I use is Slater's Mech Pack. If you're in the UK, you can get this on the link down below. If you're not in the UK, you will have to go onto Amazon and get something called Plastic Weld, which is a slightly less good version of this. This is phenomenal. This is the best polystyrene cement I have ever used, and I've used it all my life. It's fantastic. I've tried the Tamiya stuff, I've tried all sorts of other ones. That's just the best. So that's the glue I'm going to use. If you do get it from the link down below, grab one of their brushes as well, because they send you like a little custom brush. It just avoids you having to use some of your old nice brushes and paint brushes and things. So that being said, let's get clipping out some of these parts. Like I say, I am going to repose him a little bit. All we're going to do is we're going to lift this arm up so that he is shooting, is in a bit more of a shooting pose, a bit more dynamic, and a bit more involved in the scene, in the battlefield as it were, rather than stalking. I don't mind them stalking, I think it looks really cool. The other guy is definitely stalking. We could lift his arm up as well, but we're going to do it on this one. I think he's the best one, or she. This one is the best one, I think, to lift the arm up. So that's what we're going to do. So we will start clipping away. Now, usually when I am doing this, and we're going to try and find the parts first. Usually when I'm doing this, I will say a order in which to clip these out, and we'll try to go through that again. Just get this in focus. Try to go through that again. Now these ones here, in order to kind of clip these out in a certain way, I would probably clip this one first here. And in fact, we had that conversation earlier. We don't need these ones because the gates are very small, so we'll put those away and we'll get the lovely God hands out, and then you'll see why I like them so much. So this one here. And that's I will put this up to the microphone this time when we cut it. Now that one's quite interesting to know where to cut, the angle at which to cut. So this one, normally when you clip things out, you will hear and it will kind of snap. So I'm going to bring this one up to the microphone so you can hear. It just slices through. That's why. So that's a blade here and then a block, so like a little bit of an anvil block. So it's incredible, and you get much more of a cut. Get that in focus again. You get much more of a cut there than a tear, and it's just phenomenal. It's really, really good, really nice and clean. There we go. So it's like using a scalpel blade. So we need number 3 as well. So that was number 4. I'm guessing we're going to need number 1, but we'll carry on. Where's number 3? This is the only issue with things like this. When you're building some of the other kits, so like Gundam for instance, everything is so beautifully laid out, but Games Workshop cram everything on a sprue, and everything is obviously kind of scattered around a little bit more. So this one here, just assessing. So the reason why I kind of assess and just quickly assessing, there's nothing here that's particularly delicate. For instance, this over here, you could have a look and say if there was a gate on one of these, you would probably cut that gate first because you don't want to put any pressure on that part when you are snipping everything else out. This one here as well, you would probably not cut, yeah, but you'd probably be alright actually. So I'd probably cut that one first. If I cut that one first, it hasn't got anywhere to twist, so you might put a little bit of stress, unnecessary stress on certain things. It doesn't really matter with the God hands because they cut so cleanly. You don't see much movement from the piece. Yeah, anyway. So here, let's go through and cut these ones out. So one slice there. And because it cuts the parts, occasionally you will see the blade get stuck. And that's the other thing as well, because they're very, very small and they're stubby as well. Sometimes you'll have to come from the other angle to cut these out. There we go. And this one here. There. And then because the parts are being cut so cleanly as well, that you'll regularly see parts kind of left in as well. And then we need number 7, so that's this first one here. So we're cutting this out, we can try and see what that's going to look like on that base and if it's going to suit it. In fact, I think it is. I think a little bit of rubble on the base actually is going to suit that. I think that'll be fine. This is sort of the same sort of scale as well. I think it looks pretty good. So I think we are probably safe to put that on there. So we'll carry on with that plan. What else do we need? We need number 6 now, which is a little power couple. There's number 6. Now the good thing about using these God hand clippers as well is there's very, very little cleanup. So that's number 6. I'm going to carry on and try and do all of one leg, and then we will fast forward. So we need number 5 now, which is one of the armor pads, armor plates, and then we'll fast forward and we will look at everything else. That's 44, that's 10. What is, what's the longest time it's taken you to find, there it is, what's the longest time it's taken you to find a piece on a Games Workshop sprue? There we go. I'm sure the reason for it is because when you're laying out a sprue like this, they probably just go, okay, auto arrange. So they'll have all the slices up and they'll just go auto arrange, and the computer will fit it in the most economic way possible. I just wish sometimes they would overwrite it and put 50 next to 51, so it's just easier. Yeah, there we go. Right, so we'll put the God hands out of the way. We'll get the nice brand new blade, and we're just going to make sure that we have cleaned all of these up. We've got some mold lines here as well. Now mold lines, I always say if you are at all interested in any of the kits, try and get them as fresh as you can, because the longer the mold, I'm talking like years, but the longer the mold is in use, the more flash and mold lines you're going to get, and also the kind of the chunkier the mold lines are going to get. When you have a fresh kit like this, A, the mold lines will be smaller, and B, they will be much finer, so they will fall off much easier when you are removing them. So that mold line there, for instance, you only have to touch it and it falls away. So really, really easy, makes it easy to feel the cleanup. So I am going to try and paint this one up for to be photographed. So we'll see how well we can get this done. I don't know what colour scheme I'm going to do. Now, my Escher, as you can see, are blue. Whether I do the same sort of shiny blue colour scheme for the Spyrers and kind of throw a bit of purple in there, I think that might be quite interesting, and get the colour shift going of the blue and the purple. That might be quite fun. But I will decide that when we get to the painting part. Clean that bit up there. That needs a little bit of sanding just to take that out. There we go. And the same for that bit. So that was where we that's where we sliced with the God hand as well. We'll just flatten that down a little bit. Trying to keep this in frame so you can see exactly what I'm doing. If you've got any questions about anything like this, I'm trying to commentate as I go. But if you've got any questions, when you are removing mold lines like this, you don't want to have the You don't want to have the knife too vertical when you're doing it. So you don't want it too vertical. You want to angle it across, and then you scrape against that angle as well. So if you scrape that way, you're going to cut into it. So you want to scrape with the angle. Games Workshop do a mold line remover, which is very, very good, but it's quite simply just like the back of one of these blades, and it's got a bit of a burr on it as well. So it's just a hardened blade with a bit of a burr on it, so that you can sell something to the youngsters without having to sell a knife, which is really, really clever actually. But as you can see, if you want to remove a mold line or a bit of a gate, so we'll take that gate off there. There we go. If you want to remove a mold line or a bit of a gate with scraping, the mold line remover, as in the back of a knife, works absolutely fine. So if you have a mold line remover and you like using it, then feel free. The benefit of a mold line remover is that you don't have any fear of accidentally kind of taking a little bit too much off, because it hasn't got a cutting blade. It is literally just a sharp bird edge, which is a really, really clever little thing. I just don't need it because I've got a knife, so there we go. Clean all that up, clean this one up as well. Some of them, the toughest bit to clean up is always something that's on a circle or a bend. There are ways of filing over a curved surface, but generally if you're just kind of scraping off like this, then don't try and push too hard. If you push too hard, then you're going to take too much off and it's going to create a flat, so you just kind of push gently and you just roll it around so that you're taking a little bit off, and then because of the scale you're not going to notice anything like that once it's painted, so that'll be fine. Set that there. And then this is the last piece. So ordinarily I tend to clip off quite a lot when I'm building things. People build in lots of different ways. If I'm building 5 Space Marines, for instance, I will clip off all the torsos pretty much. Clip off all the torsos, and I will put torsos, legs and arms, torsos and legs in one pile over here, and then the next set of torsos and legs over here, so that they're all linked together, they're all piled together, but I will tend to clip them all off at once. And things like Space Marines, like all the arms fit on all the torsos, so it doesn't really matter, you don't have to link them up or anything. But you do have to worry about legs to torsos. But things like this, so I'm doing, just for the sake of the video here, I'm doing this top line across here, so I've clipped everything off there, and I know that it's all going to go together and it's not going to be, like, you can't confuse that bit with this bit here, so there's no confusion in here. If I was to do both and clip off both, then you would get a little bit of confusion. You wouldn't know whether this one was 11 or 6, etc. So I'm just doing this top section for the sake of the video. Right, so that's all those all kind of cleaned up. Just get, this is the brush that Mech Pack send you out, so it's Slater's. It's just a little what's it called? Synthetic brush. So these goes together. I always try to just bring this up so that I can get the orientation right on these. A lot of the newer kits have a little bit of a confusing orientation to get right the first time, and then once you find it and it sits in, it's really straightforward and obvious. How on earth is this fitting in? So that goes in there. So you got that there. There we go. There we go. And as you can see, like, as soon as you find it, it fits in really well, but you look like an idiot trying to find the orientation for a while. Yeah, it's quite funny. So there we go. So this is why I like this glue, okay? And this speeds up all my building. So you've got the glue here, and you can do the same with the Tamiya ultra thin. You'll see people doing it the same with Tamiya ultra thin. I just think this glue is better. So you hold it in position, touch the joint, and then the glue will pull itself in. touch the join here, the glue will pull itself in, and that's it, it's glued. There we go. Now one of the other things that you can do with this is if you have a join across two armor plates, you can run some glue between the armor plates, let it squeeze out a little bit, and then you can get the glue and you can soften that armor plate down as well, which is rather good. Makes for very clean angles and things. Right, so this, I don't think I'm going to put this on just yet because I think there's, so that goes in there like that. I think there's a little bit of manipulation of angles and everything from here, so I think we're going to leave that one off for just a moment. We'll put that on towards the end, as long as all the parts aren't as important. So this then, where does this fit? This fits, so turn this around to here. This fits, how the hell does this fit? Oh my word. Okay. Right, we are going to have to put the foot on, I think, because I think this goes into one of these circles of the feet. So I think that bump there, I think, fits into there like that. So we are going to have to glue this on. So let's get this orientation right as well. So we're going to go that way, and then this goes this way. So that means it will go in there like that. Just hold things. There we go. So that fits in there like that, and then it will. Interesting, it doesn't sit on that. Okay. So this is the other way that you can glue with this. So when you've got things with a recess in, you can put some glue in the recess like that, and then drop them into the recess. There we go, glued. So now we've done that, we can then, that then gets put in there like that. Wow, this is so cool. Is that right? It looks right. So, glue that, glue that. And that sits in there like that. Nope. What have I got wrong here? That needs to be turned around. There we go. And then you can run that in the joint. Run that in the joint there. There we go. So I could have done that without gluing the foot on. It just wasn't quite clear. Wasn't quite clear when we were doing that on just the orientation and how it sits. And again, you can see as soon as you find the orientation, it actually clicks in really, really well. It's just finding that initial orientation. Right, so the last one is this armor plate, and this is going to fit somewhere around here, covering up that front foot like that. There we go. Well, that was very easy to find the orientation. And again, this is one of the reasons why I like this glue, because if you find the orientation, you then don't have to take it back off to glue it. You can just leave it there, and you don't have to find the orientation again. You can just run the glue in all the joins where it touches, push it in, and there we go. So there is, oh my word, I'm so excited, this is insane. There is one of the legs from the Orrus. So I'm going to carry on and build the rest, and I'll see you in a second. It is amazing. It's really, really cool. So here, here's the Orrus dude. I haven't picked a head yet. I still haven't picked a head. There's too many different heads. I have gone with the power fist, which I was not expecting to do. I really was expecting myself to go with the claws because I think the claws look amazing. Just throw that bolt launcher on. So you can see I was expecting to go with the claws, but I don't know, I just wanted a little bit more of the kind of the classic vibe, I think. The other one will definitely have claws, because you do get 2 in the box. So I will build the other one with claws. However, oh my word, I've left this last little bit off because it's going to need a little bit of cutting and tweaking, so I just thought I'd do that on camera. You can see the fit here. You've got a little bit of a piston. Let's just get that in focus for you. A little bit of a piston here which sits up, so you've got the arm that comes out, which is the kind of human arm, and then it's got lots of mechanical bits attached to it, but you've got a piston just above, and what we're going to do is we're going to shorten that piston so that I can lift this arm up and that piston fits further back in to that section there. I want to lift the arm up and I want to have it a little bit more, like I was saying, a bit more of the classic Orrus shooty shoot pose. So we're just going to need to remove some of that down there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to very, very carefully snip a little bit off and then reattach and see how close we are. I want to see if I can make sure I can get these 2 bits of arm touching so we can go a little bit further. Now it fits, this piston fits into the arm and at a little bit of an angle. So we can try and angle that cut a little bit so that we've got a little bit of a point, so it sits into that recess a bit better. We're nearly there, and I think now actually it's probably catching on this little bit of the arm. So we'll just take that little bit of the arm off, and then what we're going to do is we're going to glue this in and then fill it with either putty or some plastic from the plastic glue. So that's where it's going to sit. Now we are at a slight benefit here in terms of we can put the shoulder plate on, the shoulder plate, the shoulder pad. There we go. We can put the shoulder pad on, and it's going to cover up all manner of sins in here. So we're going to try and pose that about like that. So he's shooting with the gauntlet horizontal, and then we're going to glue all that in there and then fill. What you'll see is that once we put that on there roughly like that, there'll be a big gap at the back which we will fill a little bit. So we'll get the glue out again. I'm going to hold that like that there. See if I can get this. Don't know whether I'm going to be able to get this held. I want it a little bit further out in front because I don't know how far the head is going to be able to be turned. And then we'll get some glue. We'll drop the glue in there like that. Let that set a little bit. Like I say, this glue's phenomenal, but there isn't a lot of contact point there. Make sure that the fist is horizontal and it's rotated correctly, because I want those bolters pretty horizontal to the floor. It's nearly there, nearly glued, and then once it is, what we're going to be able to do is see how much filling we're going to need at the back. But that looks really, really cool straight off. One thing I haven't checked is whether the shoulder pad actually fits once it's up here, but I think we'll have a little bit of flexibility on that. There we go. So that's held there. I'm not going to move it too much, just kind of sit it down, supporting its own weight a little bit. I've also got the base here. You will see that I have removed from the Orrus here. I've removed the extra little bit, which was dead easy. All I did is just kind of clipped around the foot, and then that will sit on here like that. So this foot sits up on the pipe like that, and it looks awesome. So I'm just going to let this cure fully, probably put a little bit more glue on it. And then one thing I might do is fill it, shave off a little bit of this plastic and then fill the gap with some plastic, and then maybe use some putty as well. So I will be right back, everybody. This is awesome, so cool. Here we go. It's all cured, it's all dried. We have Mr. or Mrs. or Miss Orrus, who is currently headless, pew-pew-pewing their bolt gauntlet on a power fist. I think it's awesome. It's going to sit on this base like this. So it's going to sit there like that. I will probably glue it on the base. Oh, they're so cool. Absolutely love it. I love the pose. I like the pose. It's still slightly tweakable. The glue takes a while to kind of fully cure, and while it is fully curing, you can just tweak it a little bit if you need to. So just make sure I'm completely horizontal. I want this to be completely horizontal on that. I did have to carve out a little bit of this shoulder pad just so that we've got some clearance here, because this arm is quite high, so it hits there. So I had to carve a little bit of that out, and this shoulder pad just does sit a little bit higher, but not by much. Yeah, there we go. There is there's the Orrus. I am going to glue him onto the base, so I will glue him onto the base, and then I will go through and I'll pick one of the heads. Now the heads are quite interesting. Let's get the heads up here to have a proper look at, get them in focus. So the heads are all here. We've got swept over hair head, we've got mental arachnid eye head, which is just nuts. We've got this one here, which I do like, although I don't quite know why he's got a flat forehead. And then we got this one here. I was trying to find to see whether there was like an additional thing that glues onto top of his head and makes him a mohawk or something, but it doesn't seem to be anything. And then is there another one, or is that it? Is that 4? Yeah, that's the 4. So these are the 4 heads we picked. I really want to use the arachnid eye dude, but I don't like the little ears on the top, so I might just kind of cut those ears off, flatten it out, and use that head. So that's probably the head I'm going to use, because I think there's going to be lots of fun just kind of dotting and highlighting these little lenses. Second one is probably that choice. I will probably use that one if this one doesn't work and I can't quite get those ears off nice and snugly. The back of them is quite smooth and to the helmet, so I should be able to kind of just take those off, leave that little bump there, and then make it like a helmet hat, which should look quite good. But yeah, so they're the four head options that you get. Obviously you do get a second one on the sprue, so here's the second one, which I will build at some point. But yeah, I want another pack of these. These are brilliant, absolutely brilliant. You could quite easily, I think, magnetize if you really wanted to these. Now they don't have a magnet slot, but they do have a hole in there, so you could put a magnet in there, and just kind of get them to clip in. I think that would work absolutely fine if you really wanted to kind of customize and do the different wrist-mounted bolt launchers and disintegrators and stuff. Now, one thing you won't be able to do is magnetize the claws and the fists, because there's no real way of magnetizing those two, because you only get one arm, and then magnetizing the arm to the glove is going to be incredibly difficult. Yes, you could do it if you're really picky. You would probably, if I was given the option to try and do it, I would probably drill a hole through there and just have a pin, and then have the arm kind of just have like a pin that slides into it. That would probably be the way that I did it. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. There we go. So we'll stick that on his base, move that out of the way so that you can see properly. Stick him on his base. There is the Orrus. It's just, I can't wait to get the others. I cannot wait to get the other Spyrers. Now, colour scheme. I think I'm going to go with blue, and because this kind of alien-esque beetle-looking carapace armour kind of lends itself, and Games Workshop did a really good job at the paint job with the kind of the colour shift, greeny blue colour shift. I think I will probably try and do a colour shift look on it, so colour shift metallic. in that sense, I think I will go blue and green, or blue and purple. I think I want blue as the prominent colour. But we'll see. The other option is I don't really want to do red. So yeah, I think it'll be blue. I think also with blue you've got lots of different options to go in interesting directions, because you can go to green, you can go to purple. So I think you have a little bit more flexibility with the kind of the non-metallic colour shift, because ultimately you can do non-metallic with all sorts of different colours. It doesn't really matter what colours you pick. It's just this kind of the painting style and the technique that you put on there in terms of high contrast and the light source and the shine spots and everything. So I think it might be quite fun to do a blue one and just kind of shift it blue, which is going to make all my Twitch followers laugh, because as they all know, I paint everything blue. So yeah, there we go. Right. Also, that will kind of tie in quite well with these. So if I did want to kind of ally them in, I think that would work quite well. Right. There we go. Anyway, I've got to pick a head, and then the next video, hopefully, you'll see some short videos about how I'm painting it as well. And keep an eye out on social media for it as well. So thank you very much. I have put, just so you can see here, I have put a little bit of support onto these bases because they are a little bit flexible, as you can see. So that one has got quite a long way over here without any support. So I just put a little bit of support there in the same way as I did with the caryatid as well. So I'll put a bit of support on that base there for the caryatid. But oh my god, these are so cool. They're just... I absolutely love them to bits. Games Workshop, thank you very, very much for bringing Spyrers back to Necromunda. Thanks very much. Take care, everybody. A like and a subscribe would be absolutely massively welcomed. Find me on Twitch and social media at Chris Frossin. And I will see you next video. Take care. Bye.